What's up, my favorite melanin beauties? It's your girl Koi, and I am back with a new episode for you guys. So, you guys, y'all been asking me for a past year when I'm gonna make the video or when I'm gonna talk about my New York trip. And you guys, I was trying to let it sink in. Like, I was still in denial about me going. Like, you guys would not let me rest and plan out how I wanted to tell my trip. So, here we go. My trip was amazing. I went to New York April 8th, 2021. I left on a Thursday. I left on a Thursday. It was a 3 hour and 55-minute flight. I had two flights. I had to change planes. So I left Kansas City around 5:45 p.m. I landed in St. Louis at 6:45 p.m. I had to change planes and we left from St. Louis at 7:40 p.m. I didn't land in Philly until 10:40 p.m. Now, I know you guys is like, why you had to change planes? What's up with that? So apparently, KCI, Kansas City Planes, they don't have no direct flights to Philly. And I had to change planes. So that was a 3 hour and 55-minute flight. I left KC at 5:45 p.m. Didn't land in Philly until 10:40 p.m. at night. The airport is huge in Philadelphia. I got lost. I had to call my friend to find out how the fuck to get out of that airport because I was it was too big for me. I'm a small town. I'm from the city, but I'm a small town girl. So and I didn't know where the fuck I was going. I was lost. I finally found my way out of that airport. I went to pick up my rental and it was hell picking up the rental. Like they only had one rental company still open that's on the premises of the airport. So I finally get there. Um, where I originally booked my car at, they was already closed. So I had to get my car from another company. And they gave me a nice badass car for a reasonable price. I paid that, got up out of there. I didn't leave the airport premises till about like midnight. And then I had to find me a hotel because it was super late and I missed my check-in time when I landed. So I had to find me a hotel. I finally found one and I went to bed. I was over the night. I went to bed. Now, coming back from Philadelphia was smooth than me getting there. Cause when I was leaving Missouri going to the East Coast, the plane, the pilot that flew me to St. Louis was very smooth. I barely felt the plane take off. Now, when we changed planes and we left St. Louis going to Philadelphia, that was a rough flight because it was raining and it was just storming and it was just everywhere. Mind y'all, it was my first time ever being on a plane. So I was nervous. I wasn't freaking out like I thought I would, but I was very, very nervous. So as we was landing in Philadelphia, it was rough. It was a very rough landing. The plane bounced off the ground as we was landing, and that was just ugh, that creeped me out. So leaving um Philadelphia, going back to St. Louis, I left on a Sunday at April 11th. That was a 4 hour flight leaving because I had a delay. Now, when I left Philadelphia, I left at 6:15 a.m. I landed in Nashville at 7:25. Now, Nashville is so beautiful. I never been to Tennessee. That was my first time ever going and it was so nice being there. It was amazing. Like I loved it. And so I had to leave from Philadelphia. I landed in Nashville. From Nashville, we flew back to St. Louis. I landed in St. Louis at 10:50. And then I had to change planes and fly back to Kansas City because that's where I flew out from. And I landed back in Kansas City at 9:55 a.m. The flight back into Missouri was very, very smooth. Now, when I got to Jersey, it was fun. Like I really enjoyed it. The next morning, we had a whole trip planned out and it was just like go with the flow. Like everything we planned it out, we really didn't do, but it was fun. You guys, I visited, I went to see my friend's parent. I haven't seen him in a very, very long time. We went to Delaware. I went to Trenton, New Jersey. I seen where my friend grew up at and the hood that he grew up in. And it's very, very different from Kansas City, even though it looks similar, but it's very, very different. It's very diverse over there. And it was so much love. Like, it was amazing. Like, I fit in so well over there. Like, the people there they don't play no games when it comes to women. Okay. They love us chocolate skin girls. Don't let nobody tell you different. So I went to Delaware. I have fun. Now, you guys, going into Delaware, the air there is so different. The trees are so different. It's like it has this rich type of smell in the air. Like, and I don't mean like rich as in money. I mean like the soil is very rich. It's just you could just ooh, I wish I could explain it, but I can't. You just had to be there to experience like the air in Delaware is something different. Like I don't know what it is out there, but the trees and the mulch and the soil, it's just a whole different vibe out there. And then you guys, we had to go over this tall ass bridge leaving through Philadelphia going to Delaware. They bridges is so tall. Why I don't understand why the bridge is so fucking big and why are they that tall. Like the overpass for what? There's no like I don't understand why. That one particular bridge that we went over is so high and curved like that and slanted. You guys, I tell you, I did not drive the whole time I was there. I had a rental, but I did not drive that bitch the whole time I was in Jersey. The whole time I went to New York. When we went to Delaware, Philly, I did not drive nowhere because for one, the people drive too fast. They drive like bats out of hell. I thought St. Louis folks drive fast, but them Jersey, New York people, they drive like 100 miles per hour. Like they got places to be. Like I did not drive because I don't know where I'm going. The roads is just it's just too much for me. The bridges, you guys, I got on the floor of my car when we crossed that bridge. I got out of my seat and got on the floor. I did not want to see nothing. Like I had a whole panic attack. Like I was not going for it. Like it just was not for me. But going to Delaware, it was fine. It was cool. I met my friend's dad once again. I haven't seen him since they lived in Missouri, and it was so much love. I got to meet his new wife. She was sweet, and you know what I'm saying? They love me, and I love them. I kind of missed them. I kind of want to go back and and visit his dad and his new mom or stepmom. I don't know what he calls her, but his dad and his dad's new wife. Like I really want to go back and see them again because they showed me so much love when I went. It's just it was very touching to me. So on the way back from Delaware, we went to New York the next following day. When we touched down in New York, it was something totally different. Like the lights, the tunnels, the tolls, everything is just different. It's a whole different energy once you leave from when you see how people are in Jersey and Delaware and Philadelphia. The people are very different. And when we got to Manhattan, it's just like you see on TV, just times 5. Like people everywhere, cars everywhere. There's no movement. Like everything is just compact. Everything is close together. Now, finding a place to park just to get out and walk and just to get some air, it is. Look, I'm telling y'all better off just I don't know catching a train. If you're trying to go sightseeing, it's better off catching a train because trying to park in town square or just to go out and eat, you're gonna come out about $100 an hour just for parking. So we parked for a good like 30 minutes. Um we got out, we walked. He bought me a bag and he bought him a belt. Um we chilled, we took pictures. And there's a lot of hustlers on the street. Like most people out there getting their bread, and it kind of makes me want to go out there and sell my waist beads and see what type of lick I can hit on the people because people out there hustling, they getting their money. And seeing that really gave me an idea of how I can really run my business when I'm not working online, I could just be out here on the streets and just hitting the people like that. And it's a total different vibe. It's very inspiring. And yeah, it was just different. I really loved it. Like it gave me a spark under my ass, and it gave me some ideas of what I need to put in play for my own personal gain. So if you ain't never been to New York, you need to go and just experience the people and talk to people. Just look around you. Like don't be so like fanned out by being there. Just soak in the moment and gain and take in what you see, because you can learn a lot from just watching people around you that's in their normal habitat. You can learn by just watching people how they move about their city. And I applaud that, because one thing I learned about New Yorkers and just watching it, they know how to hustle, and I gained all that from watching them. Now, while I was there, one of my good friends, G, hit me up and he was like, "Hey, isn't your dad part of the Rough Riders?" Because at this time, this was when the news broke about DMX passing. He passed on April 9th. I was in New York at that time that he passed, and I hit him. I'm like, "Yeah, my dad's part of it. He's no longer part of the chapter now, but he was at that time." Um, my dad was in the Rough Riders. He was there for 12 years. He started in 2010. He just now got out of the chapter about 5 to 6 months ago. So he's no longer in the chapter. He was a soldier. Um, his name was Redline, and my stepmom also was a part of the chapter. She was Rich Chocolate. And just growing up with parents in certain like chapters, bike clubs, you learn a lot, you see not a lot, and you really gotta compose yourself and, you know, move about a certain type of way. And with me, I'm the wild child out of the group, so it really gave me some ground like groundation to it. It really plant my foot into certain things. It really grounded me. And I had to learn like in certain situations and certain events that we was going to, like they had like charities and fundraisers and the things that I had been around and I seen outside of the adult parties, because I was never allowed at the adult parties. But just being there when they're doing their fundraisers and their charity work, it's a very good it's a very good chapter or organization to be a part of if you're looking for a certain type of thing like brotherhood or sisterhood or familyhood. And it really showed me that I need to learn how to compose myself and portray myself with a certain type of character growing up when you got parents a part of a very high ranked organization. Because as you guys know, the Rough Riders is everywhere. They're known globally, nationally. Like they're known all over the place. So being a part of that and just seeing my parents in that organization and how they work with different people, and or it really showed me how to be, a caring person, and how to just pull back on my personality a little bit and to compose myself as a lady and into the world today. So it wasn't nothing really crazy growing up with a parent that's a part of that chapter. It just really gave me character. Really, it just showed me how to be something that I never thought I could be. It really molded me into the lady that I am now, with morals and principles and values. So, again, my dad was a part of that. He's no longer. He was in the chapter for 12 years. So, my dad was a soldier of the Rough Rider. So, I still am very proud that my dad was a part of the Rough Riders. It's something that I hold dear to me and I like to brag about, because you know what I'm saying? I've never been a part of no organization. I didn't go to college. I didn't join no type of nothing. And just having that badge and knowing that I know somebody that was a part of a very um respectable chapter organization, I love it. I love to brag about it, and I feel like he should be proud of that too, and just have that respect on him. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people respect that, and something you should be proud of, because I'm proud of that. Now, with the whole DMX passing, That was something that I had never experienced before with being in a certain city and a top artist that I really grew up on listening to. It was different being in the city that he's from and just hearing his music everywhere and seeing how the people reacted to his death. And it was very surreal. Like, it was crazy because his music was all over the radio for about 2 days. They played it all day. And I remember like it was yesterday. I woke up, I turned on the TV, and they had it on the news. And then I turned the TV off. And I was like, what the fuck? No. And then I turned on the radio, and they was like, breaking news, New York's very own DMX has passed. And it was just silent. Like, the whole city was silent. And then I went on, took my shower. My friend came back to my room and he was like, hey, let's go to Yonkers. And I'm like, well, what we going to Yonkers for? He was like, well, that's where DMX is from. They're having a ride out there from the hospital where he died at to Yonkers. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go. Let's do it. Like, I'm with it. And we did that. We took a little drive to Yonkers, and it was very surreal. It was a real deal thing. Like, it was people everywhere, all on the streets. Like, y'all remember how that Biggie movie was, where when he passed away and people was all outside and like blaring his music and everybody's in the streets, they're singing, they dancing, and you know what I'm saying, everybody's singing his music from word for word. That's exactly how it was when we went to Yonkers and we hit his block. There was people everywhere. We parked and got out of the car, and I'm so glad that I got to experience this because it was something that I have never ever felt, and it was a different type of respect that this man had in his city. Not alone just younger, but just in New York. Period. Like, he had the city on lock. Like, people everywhere from each borough. Like, it was crazy. Like, people everywhere. They on buildings, they're hanging out windows, they on top of cars, they're in the stores, the bodegas. Like, people was everywhere. You hear his music everywhere. People in the streets, they're singing, they're cheering, they're laughing. Some people crying. It was just so surreal. Like, they had pictures of him. They're playing his like songs, and it was so surreal. And then that ride that we took, it was a very long ride. So from where my hotel was in Jersey City to the hospital where he died at was about an hour and like 30 plus minutes. So we took a long drive just to get to the hospital, just to take that ride. Right. And we connected with some people down there that he knows. My friend's Muslim. And it was just crazy. Like, it was just a different type of experience. Like, it was just different. It was just different. I really can't explain it, but that man is definitely loved 100%. Like, and I could just imagine like how he's feeling right now. And well, at that time, just looking down on his city, I know he was like, yeah, like I did that. Like, yeah. Like, the city was proud of him. It was a sad day in New York. Like, when I woke up that morning, it was a sad day. It rained early that morning. So it was definitely an experience that I will never forget, that I'm grateful that I got to experience, and I can tell my son about it. Like, hey, at this time I went to New York and one of my favorite rappers passed away, but I was in his city around that time. It was just like a different type of energy. Like, once you really grew up on listen to a certain artist, you have a different type of connection to them. And then just being in his city or their city where they're from, and they just happen to pass away the same day that you're there, it's a different type of energy that you feel over your body once you hear that news, and then you get to experience it with different people. It's different. And I hope he's very happy of his city. Hope he's still proud of his city, because it's proud his city is proud of him. They're happy for him, and I'm sure they're still playing his music. Like, I checked his music stats and stuff. His music is still charting. His music's still going up. He got like 63 million plays on YouTube's on like multiple songs. Like they're 63 million, 80 million. Like his music is still doing its shits. And that's just a different type of thing that I wish everybody got to experience that. Like, I know how some people went and experienced the Nipsey Hussle thing. I didn't really get to experience that because I wasn't that close to Nipsey like that. I just, when I very first heard about him, he was just like taking off getting, his recognition. But I grew up on DMX, like just hearing him from a child up to my adulthood. So I really grew up, like grew with this man listening to him. So that was a different type of feeling. And I'm glad that I got to experience that. I'm glad that my parents was part of that chapter and just the whole experience in New York. It was just crazy. Like the people, they so real and grimy and gutter, but it's like they don't mean no harm, but they, you know what I'm saying? They just got this type of, I don't know, this type of edge to them that they just can't be fucked with. And I love that. So yeah, you guys, that was my whole trip in New York and what I got to experience. And I definitely plan on going back. Um, I really don't know when. I've been planning it. I wanted to go back for Christmas, but that's not possible. But hopefully, like next year, I could take my son and we can go for Christmas. He can experience the ball dropping and go ice skating and watch the tree, typical tourist stuff. But it was a real thing, like just going and really feeling the people there and some of the people that I know in New York outside of just being with my friend. I was able to talk and text with my other friends that are in New York that was in different boroughs that I couldn't go and see at that time. It was just very real. Like I gotta go back and just experience it one more time because that's a feeling that I just don't want to lose. And yeah, you guys. So that was my trip. Um, and I really enjoyed it. And you guys, that was a trip. That was a trip. It was very fun. I visited 3 different states in 3 different days, and I had fun. I enjoyed it. I had no complaints outside of the plane landing situation, but it was fun. I'll definitely do it again. It hasn't scared me for taking no more trips. I'm still planning on taking trips to the East Coast. I just don't know when. And yeah, you guys just keep in touch with me. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, Koya. I am Koya with 4 A's. Melanin Talks do have an Instagram page, you guys. So go on over there to Melanin Talks Instagram page. Show me some love. Make sure you got all your notifications on.